actually stole the cow, and it's in my house, but don't tell anybody that.
Absolutely. Hi, my name is Nigeria Chambers from Big Go Belt Media. Peter and Michelle, it's a pleasure to talk to you today about the new series Constellation coming to Apple TV Plus February 21st. I want to start off, Peter, with you because as the creator and the writer of this, I thought this quote was fitting. A journey of 1,000 miles must begin with a single step. But then, if you want a pro tip here, you listen, if you want a successful show, then without a doubt, you have to hire one of the greatest directors of one of the greatest television shows of all time in Breaking Bad. This is a match made in heaven, and you two have absolutely nailed it with this series as I have watched all 8 episodes. But on that note, how are you two feeling?
Wow.
Well, that's very nice to hear.
Thank you. It's very nice to meet you.
Because we've been doing this for years and years, and nobody else has seen it. And it's talking to you guys is the first indication we've got of what people think about it, and it's a bit terrifying, but I can't wait for people to let us know what they make of it. It's very exciting.
Oh, for sure. Listen, you two get back to work. We'll cut the interview now because if you're going to keep putting out bangers like this, then I'll just keep signing up for it, okay? So there's that. But nonetheless, truly, congratulations on this series. And I don't think there's ever been a series that I watched that made me think, overthink, and reflect more than this, which is a good thing because even all of the actors I spoke with today just talked about how much that this continued to make them think, but also a point of self-reflection. And Peter and Michelle, they've also pointed that you two were both safe spaces to ask questions, to reflect, to kind of have these conversations, which I think is just a beautiful thing and amazing chemistry and definitely a measure of ethics you want on set, which is why the show is what it is. It's just fantastic. So while I do have your time, Peter, for the man that does have all the answers here, I got a few questions I want to throw at you really, really quickly.
Okay.
And the first one is, and Michelle, chime in by all means if you have anything to add to this, is where did the idea from the cow come from?
The cow? Actually, the cow exists, but there is such.
But it's not that, right?
It's not that. It's not like a magical portal between realities. It doesn't, and it's not quite as beautiful as that as the cow. I actually stole the cow, and it's in my house, but don't tell anybody that. But it's a magic door, and we've got a number of magic doors, and ways of going into different places in this show, and it is grounded in science, and the effects that it has are kind of stuff that I've looked into, and we've had a scientific consultant who's kind of it's all pinned down there somewhere, and maybe in some point in the future we will explain it all, but that's where that came from. It's a magic door. It's a cupboard into Narnia. It's down the rabbit hole.
Really quickly too, I just want to make sure I get the terminologies right. When you're talking about what's occurring in this series, what words are proper, or what words would you two love to be attached to it when we talk about alternate realities, alternate dimensions, multiverse? What seems to be the terminology you want to go forward with?
It's not a multiverse, It's huge spoilers, but it's a mirrored reality. But it's like kind of looking into a mirror, and then your reflection starts looking back at you and not behaving in the way that it should, basically.
Or is it?
Or is it?
Or is it? I was literally going to say that. 2 more questions I really want to get through them really, really quickly. The devil and angel painters, they're actually, with the time, let me revert to the most important question. Davina and Rosie.
Yeah.
Holy heck, their performances in this. Can you two talk about having them casted, work with them, and giving them a script and them just killing it in the way they did?
We had a casting director who is specifically looking for children, And I was suspect whether we were going to find twins that could both act. And she called and said, we've got 3 sets of twins we want you to meet. And Davina and Rosie were the first ones I met through Zoom. And I was watching them and watching them read, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, these are them. They are, I mean, from the moment they first scene I saw, and thankfully everybody agreed and felt the same way. And the amazing thing about Davina and Rosie is not only are they lovely and grounded and dedicated and hardworking and all that stuff, they're both incredibly talented. So we could time out on one of them mid-scene and the other would step in flawlessly. There's no transition. And when I was in editing, I couldn't tell who was who. I couldn't tell when we switched. And that's an incredible thing for twins. And they are brilliant. They have a very exciting career ahead of them.
But I mean, that is the key piece of casting, really. For some reason, Noomi and Jonathan and Will and James, they slotted into place very quickly, and they were top of our lists, and they wanted to do it, and they said yes very quickly. But I mean, if you've got a child who is essentially carrying the emotional weight of the story, the whole thing stands or falls on how good those that actor is or those actors. And Davina and Rosie are, hands down, kind of some of the best actors I've ever worked with. And I said this when they wrapped. We've been developing this series for a long time, for years and years, and I realized that it had taken so long because we had to wait for them to become 10 years old in order to play the part, because they're the key to it, and they're fantastic.
They are. They very, very much are. Please give them my regard. They are amazing in this. But Peter and Michelle, as I mentioned, please get back to work because I need more projects for you all. But in the meantime, folks can check out Constellation, which is coming to Apple TV Plus February 21st. Thank you both for your time today.
Thank you so
Pleasure
much.
to meet you.
Nice to
Thank
meet
you.
you.
Thank you.